The White House, the iconic residence of the President of the United States, is one of the most secure buildings in the world. The security measures put in place to protect it are both impressive and elaborate, making it a fortress that guards the leader of the free world. Inside the White House grounds, there are multiple layers of protection. Every detail of this security system is designed to prevent any unauthorized access and ensure the safety of its occupants. The White House security system is a remarkable blend of technology, strategy, and human vigilance, all working together to protect the highest office in the land. Let's take a look at 15 insane White House security features that you might not have known about. Number 15. Infrared sensors. Infrared sensors are a key part of the White House's advanced security system. The history of infrared sensors as a security measure at the White House can be traced back to the presidency of Ronald Reagan in the 1980s. During this period, the Cold War heightened concerns about potential threats, leading to a significant upgrade in security technologies. Infrared sensors, originally developed for military use, were adapted for civilian and governmental applications, including the protection of high-profile locations like the White House. Infrared sensors work by detecting infrared radiation, which is emitted by all objects with a temperature above absolute zero. Human bodies, animals, and vehicles emit heat that can be picked up by these sensors. This capability is particularly useful at night or in low-visibility conditions when traditional cameras might be less effective. The sensors can trigger alarms if they detect unauthorized movement, allowing the Secret Service to respond swiftly to potential threats. The placement of these sensors is strategic, covering all entry points and critical areas around the White House. This ensures a comprehensive surveillance network that can identify and track any intrusions. Over the years, the technology has evolved, with modern infrared sensors being more accurate and reliable than their predecessors. Number 14. Surface-to-air missiles. The idea of installing surface-to-air missiles around the White House emerged after the tragic events of September 11, 2001. The attacks highlighted the vulnerability of important buildings to airborne threats, prompting a re-evaluation of security protocols. To counter such threats, the US government decided to implement a more robust defense system. In the years following 9/11, the Secret Service and other security agencies worked together to enhance the White House's protection. By 2005, surface-to-air missiles became a crucial part of this new security framework. These missiles are capable of detecting, tracking, and destroying any hostile aircraft that might threaten the airspace above the White House. The exact details and locations of these missile installations are classified, ensuring that potential attackers cannot easily find and disable them. However, it is known that the missile systems are strategically placed to provide maximum coverage and effectiveness. They are integrated with radar and other detection technologies, creating a seamless and powerful defense network. Surface-to-air missiles are just one aspect of a multi-layered security approach that includes ground-based defenses, surveillance systems, and trained personnel. The Secret Service, responsible for the safety of the President and the White House, oversees the operation and maintenance of these missile systems. They work closely with the military and other agencies to ensure that the defense measures are always ready and effective. Number 13. Drone-proof technology. The push for drone-proof technology at the White House began around 2015 after several incidents highlighted the potential dangers of drones.
Not a person, a plane this time, was a drone found on the White House lawn.
In January 2015, a small drone crashed onto the White House lawn, prompting serious concerns about security. This incident showed how easily drones could breach the airspace around one of the most secure buildings in the world. Although this particular drone was flown by a hobbyist who lost control, it raised alarms about the potential for more malicious uses. In response, the Secret Service and other security agencies started working on solutions to detect and neutralize drones. They collaborated with tech companies and defense contractors to develop systems that could protect the White House. These systems included radar, radio frequency sensors, and signal jammers to detect and disrupt the signals that control drones. The goal was to create a comprehensive defense that could identify, track, and disable any unauthorized drone in the vicinity. One of the key components of this technology is the use of radar systems that can detect drones from a distance. These radar systems are designed to differentiate between drones and other flying objects, ensuring that the security team can quickly identify potential threats. Additionally, radio frequency sensors can detect the signals used to control drones, allowing security personnel to locate the drone's operator. Signal jammers are another crucial part of the drone-proof technology. These devices can disrupt the communication between the drone and its operator, causing the drone to lose control and potentially forcing it to land or return to its starting point. This helps prevent drones from approaching the White House or gathering sensitive information. Number 12. Vehicle barriers. The idea of vehicle barriers at the White House took root in the early 1980s. After a series of security breaches and increasing threats, it was clear that more robust measures were necessary. One notable incident that spurred this development occurred in 1981 when a mentally ill man crashed his truck into the White House gates.
The man is dead after crashing his car into a security barrier around the White House complex.
This alarming event underscored the vulnerability of the residents to vehicle attacks. In response, the Secret Service began to implement various security enhancements. The early vehicle barriers were simple and somewhat rudimentary, but over the years, they evolved into sophisticated systems. By the late 1990s, the White House had installed more advanced barriers capable of stopping even the largest and fastest-moving vehicles. One of the most significant upgrades happened after the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing, which demonstrated the devastating potential of vehicle-based explosives. In light of this tragedy, the security around many federal buildings, including the White House, was re-evaluated and significantly strengthened. The modern vehicle barriers at the White House are designed to stop any unauthorized vehicle in its tracks. These barriers can be raised and lowered as needed, ensuring they do not obstruct normal operations but are ready to deploy in an instant if a threat is detected. They are strategically placed at all vehicle entry points and around the perimeter, creating a secure buffer zone. Number 11. Food testers. The tradition of using food testers in the White House began during the 20th century. One notable instance occurred during President Richard Nixon's administration in the 1970s. Nixon was particularly concerned about the possibility of being poisoned, prompting heightened security measures around his meals. A key figure in the history of White House food testing is Henrietta Nesbitt, the head housekeeper during Franklin D. Roosevelt's presidency in the 1930s and 1940s. Although her primary role was managing the kitchen and household staff, Nesbitt was also responsible for ensuring the safety of the president's food. She oversaw the preparation and tasting of meals, making sure that nothing harmful reached the president's plate. The role of food testers evolved over time, becoming more sophisticated with advances in technology. Today, the White House employs a team of experts, including chefs and security personnel, who rigorously test every ingredient and dish. They use advanced equipment to detect toxins, ensuring that the food is safe for consumption. One famous story involves President George H.W. Bush, who in the late 1980s and early 1990s had a food tester named Walter Scheib, who later became the White House executive chef. Sheeb and his team were responsible for the meticulous preparation and testing of all food, reflecting the ongoing importance of this security measure.
It was over with. He came back in the kitchen. He said, "John," he shook my hand and said, "John, in the 4 years I've been here, I never had a meal like that. That was wonderful. Thank you very much."
In addition to in-house testing, the White House collaborates with external agencies like the Secret Service and the FDA to conduct thorough inspections of all food items delivered to the residents. This multi-layered approach ensures that every meal served in the White House meets the highest safety standards. Number 10. Pressure pads. Pressure pads are an interesting and clever part of the White House's security system. These hidden sensors are placed under floors and other surfaces to detect any unauthorized movement. The use of pressure pads as a security measure has its roots in the advancements of technology during the 20th century. While the exact date when they were first installed in the White House isn't widely publicized, it is known that their use became more prevalent during the Cold War era. This was a time when security concerns were at an all-time high, and the need for sophisticated measures to protect the president became crucial. One notable period was during the presidency of John F. Kennedy in the early 1960s. After the Bay of Pigs invasion and the Cuban Missile Crisis, the Kennedy administration recognized the need for enhanced security. This led to various upgrades in the White House security system, possibly including the introduction of pressure pads. Pressure pads work by detecting the weight and pressure applied to a surface. They are typically placed in strategic locations where intruders are most likely to step. For example, they can be found under carpets, near windows, and in hallways. When pressure is applied, the pads send a signal to the security control room where officers can monitor the situation and take necessary action. The effectiveness of pressure pads lies in their ability to operate discreetly. Intruders might not even know they have triggered an alarm until it's too late. This element of surprise is crucial for maintaining the security of the White House. Number 9. Screening and vetting process. Back in the early 20th century, White House security was relatively relaxed. Visitors could even walk up to the front door and knock for a tour. However, as the world changed and threats increased, so did the need for better security measures. A major turning point came after the assassination of President William McKinley in 1901, which led to the formation of the Secret Service as a permanent protective detail for the president. One significant incident that highlighted the need for a stricter vetting process was the 1974 event when Robert K. Preston, a disgruntled Army private, stole a helicopter and managed to land it on the White House grounds. Although he was immediately apprehended, this incident exposed the vulnerabilities in the White House security and led to a review and enhancement of the procedures.
His attitude was to crash into the White House. He could have accomplished it without any problem.
The modern screening and vetting process involves multiple layers of checks. Visitors must submit their personal information well in advance for a background check. The Secret Service uses this information to check for any criminal history, connections to known threats, or any other red flags. On the day of the visit, guests go through a series of security checkpoints. Their identification is verified, and they must pass through metal detectors and have their belongings scanned. The White House uses advanced technology like facial recognition and biometric scanning to ensure the accuracy and thoroughness of these checks. Number 8. Bulletproof windows. The idea of bulletproofing the windows came about due to the increasing threats and assassination attempts against U.S. presidents over the years. One of the key moments that led to this upgrade was the assassination of President John F. Kennedy in 1963. His death highlighted the vulnerability of public figures and prompted a significant overhaul of security protocols for the president. The Secret Service and other security agencies began to explore various ways to enhance protection for the president. In the 1970s As threats continued to evolve, the White House began installing bulletproof windows. These windows are made from layers of strong, transparent materials like polycarbonate and laminated glass, designed to absorb and disperse the energy from bullets. This technology ensures that the windows remain intact even under heavy gunfire, preventing any bullets from penetrating the glass and harming those inside. The bulletproof windows are particularly important in areas of the White House where the president and other officials are frequently present, such as the Oval Office and the family living quarters. These reinforced windows allow the president to work and live without the constant threat of gunfire from outside. Number 7. The Belgian Malinois. The use of dogs in White House security dates back many years, but the Belgian Malinois became prominent during President Barack Obama's administration. In 2009, the Secret Service introduced these dogs to enhance the security of the president and his family. One of the most famous Belgian Malinois in the White House was a dog named Hurricane. Hurricane became well known for his bravery during a 2014 incident when he successfully stopped an intruder who had jumped the White House fence. Belgian Malinois dogs are chosen for their excellent traits. They are incredibly fast and can run at speeds of up to 30 miles per hour. They are also very trainable and can follow complex commands, making them ideal for security work. Their keen sense of smell allows them to detect explosives, drugs, and other dangerous substances. These dogs undergo rigorous training at the Secret Service training facility in Beltsville, Maryland. Here, they are trained to handle various security threats, from tracking suspects to detecting explosives. Number 6. The Secret Service. The Secret Service is an essential part of White House security, ensuring the safety of the president, vice president, their families, and other important figures. This agency has a fascinating history, and its role has evolved significantly over the years. The Secret Service was created on July 5, 1865, by President Abraham Lincoln. Ironically, Lincoln signed the legislation to establish the agency just hours before his assassination. Originally, the Secret Service was part of the Treasury Department and was primarily tasked with combating counterfeit currency, a significant issue at the time. However, its role changed dramatically after the assassination of President William McKinley in 1901. McKinley's death highlighted the need for a dedicated team to protect the president, leading to the Secret Service taking on this crucial responsibility. The first mission to protect a sitting president began in 1902, with President Theodore Roosevelt being the first to receive full-time protection. Over the years, the Secret Service's role has expanded to include the protection of the vice president, visiting foreign dignitaries, and even presidential candidates. Secret Service agents at the White House are highly trained professionals. They undergo rigorous training at the James J. Rowley Training Center in Maryland, where they learn everything from marksmanship to emergency medical procedures. These agents are always on high alert, prepared to respond to any potential threat. They blend into the background, often wearing plain clothes to avoid drawing attention, but they are always vigilant and ready to act. Number 5. Secret tunnels. The White House is known for its grandeur and historical significance, but one of its most intriguing aspects is the network of secret tunnels that lie beneath it. These tunnels are part of the elaborate security measures in place to protect the president and other key personnel. The idea of secret tunnels dates back to the early 1940s during World War II. President Franklin D. Roosevelt felt the need for a secure way to evacuate the president and other important figures in case of an emergency. The construction of these tunnels began in 1941, providing a covert means of escape from the White House to safer locations. One of the most well-known tunnels connects the White House to the Treasury building. This tunnel was built not just for escape, but also to allow for secure communication and movement of people without being seen. The Treasury Building, located just east of the White House, became an important part of the security strategy, offering a fortified place to retreat to. Another significant tunnel, often referred to as the Presidential Emergency Operations Center, PEOC, is located under the East Wing. This bunker-like structure was constructed during the Cold War, a period marked by the threat of nuclear attacks. President John F. Kennedy, who faced the Cuban Missile Crisis, underscored the need for such a secure area. The PEOC is designed to withstand significant blasts and provides a fully operational command center where the president can continue to govern even in times of extreme danger. The secret tunnels are not just relics of past threats, but are continuously updated and maintained. They are equipped with the latest technology to ensure communication and safety. These tunnels have been used in various scenarios, including on September 11, 2001, when Vice President Dick Cheney was taken to the PEOC for protection. Number 4. Lockdown mode. The concept of lockdown mode became more prominent after the 9/11 attacks in 2001. The tragic events of that day highlighted the need for heightened security measures at key government buildings, including the White House. President George W. Bush and his security advisors recognized the need for a swift and efficient way to secure the White House in the face of potential threats. The lockdown mode involves several steps. First, electronic locks on all doors can be activated remotely, sealing off specific areas or the entire building. This prevents intruders from moving freely within the White House. Additionally, windows are reinforced and bulletproof, further protecting against attacks. The Secret Service monitor potential threats using advanced surveillance systems, including cameras and infrared sensors, which can detect unusual activity around the White House grounds. If a threat is detected, they can quickly initiate the lockdown mode. During President Barack Obama's administration, the lockdown mode was tested and improved to ensure its effectiveness. One notable incident occurred on September 19, 2014, when a man jumped the White House fence and managed to enter the building before being apprehended. This security breach led to a review and enhancement of the lockdown procedures to prevent similar incidents in the future. Number 3. Surveillance cameras. The introduction of surveillance cameras at the White House can be traced back to the early 1970s. President Richard Nixon, concerned about security and the threat of intruders, authorized the installation of the first set of cameras around the White House premises. This initial setup included basic black and white cameras, which were a significant step forward at the time. Over the years, the technology behind these cameras has greatly improved. Today, the White House uses advanced surveillance cameras with high-definition and infrared capabilities. These cameras can capture clear images day and night, ensuring that no suspicious activity goes unnoticed. The cameras are strategically placed around the White House grounds, covering all key areas including entrances, exits, and the perimeter fence. On September 19, 2014, a man named Omar Gonzalez managed to jump the fence and run across the lawn before being apprehended by Secret Service agents inside the building. This incident prompted a review of security measures, including the effectiveness and placement of surveillance cameras. As a result, additional cameras were installed, and existing ones were upgraded to provide better coverage and higher resolution footage. Number 2. Snipers. These snipers are part of the Secret Service's counter-sniper team, formerly known as the Counter-Assault Team, CAT. The team is comprised of highly skilled marksmen who undergo rigorous training to ensure they can perform their duties under any conditions. Their training includes marksmanship, urban combat, and counter-sniper tactics. They practice shooting in various weather conditions and are trained to handle high-stress situations, ensuring they are prepared for any scenario. One of the key figures in the development of the White House sniper program was Secret Service Director James J. Rowley, who served from 1961 to 1973. Rowley recognized the need for an elite team of snipers to protect the president from potential long-range attacks. Under his leadership, the Secret Service began implementing sniper training programs and developing strategies to integrate snipers into the overall security plan for the White House. The snipers are strategically positioned on the roof of the White House and other key locations around the premises. They use high-powered rifles equipped with advanced optics and night vision capabilities, allowing them to monitor and respond to threats in any lighting condition. The M24 sniper weapon system is a common choice for these operatives due to its accuracy and reliability. Number 1. The Iron Fence of Doom. The history of the White House fence dates back to the early 19th century. The first fence around the White House was constructed in 1801 during Thomas Jefferson's presidency. This fence was simple and more decorative than defensive, reflecting the early days when the security needs were not as intense as they are now. However, as time went on and the security threats increased, the need for a more robust barrier became apparent. In 1833, a wrought iron fence was built during Andrew Jackson's presidency. This fence was stronger and provided better security than its predecessor. But as the years passed, even this fence was deemed insufficient. The current version of the White House fence has gone through several upgrades, reflecting the growing concerns for presidential security. The modern fence, known for its intimidating and sturdy appearance, was designed to prevent people from climbing over or cutting through it. The fence is around 13 feet tall and has sharp points at the top, making it very difficult to scale. One of the major upgrades to the fence took place in 2015 after a series of security breaches. In September 2014, a man named Omar Gonzalez managed to jump the fence and run across the lawn before being apprehended just inside the doors of the White House. This incident, along with others, highlighted the need for an even more secure barrier. The project to improve the fence was approved by the National Capital Planning Commission in 2015. The new design, which began construction in 2018 and was completed in 2019, was developed by the architecture firm Beyer Blinder Bell and the engineering firm Stantec. The fence was built to be both stronger and taller, with wider and stronger pickets to prevent climbing. The materials used for the fence are high-quality steel and anti-climb features, making it very difficult for anyone to breach it without being detected. Additionally, the fence is equipped with various sensors and surveillance cameras that provide 24/7 monitoring of the perimeter. These technological upgrades ensure that any attempt to climb or damage the fence is quickly detected and responded to by the Secret Service. Thanks for watching another episode. While you're still here, make sure to click the video on your screen for more quality content.